Earshot.
Earshot.
So it's about 6.5 hours in the car and about 9 to 10 hours on the bus, so it's quite different.
Welcome to Melbourne. Population 4.8 million. Home to all things arts, culture, sports, coffee, and packed elbow to elbow with people from all corners of the world. But not everyone is accustomed to this kind of fast-paced lifestyle. In fact, this can be particularly daunting and overwhelming for newcomers, feeling swallowed by the surrounding skyscrapers and waves of people on the street. I'm Jasmine Tatai, and welcome to Earshot. Today we sit down with April Goldring, an RMIT City campus student originally from the small town of Mildura, who made the move to the city half a state away from her home. All on the 16th of February, April turned 18, passed her Ps and left her life in Mildura for a new start in Melbourne.
My mum, my dad, my brother all brought me down and stayed with me for the weekend and helped me settle into my place. The car ride was quite exhausting and emotional. One minute we'd be singing and having a good time, and then the next you'd be crying because, like it's slowly coming to an end, and only have my family around me for 2 more days, and then I'm kind of left in Melbourne by myself.
So, what was your first impression of Melbourne and the city life once you had got settled in?
Creating a life in Melbourne was very different to what I anticipated it to be. The transition period was quite different, and it's still happening. There's still times where I get really overwhelmed because it's just so different, and the culture and the people are quite different to what we have at home. So at home it's a country town, not much diversity in the people that are there, or even just the cafes. They're so different here. They're everywhere, whereas home you just have your local one that you go to.
What did you imagine the city to be like before you came to Melbourne? Did you have any expectations?
I thought it would be quite busy, quite cold, which both of those things it is, and it's a very grey city. I thought, compared to Adelaide and Sydney, it's very, very cold and just, I don't know, very different. People are always on a mission. They're not very open, that I've found, and it can be quite alienating actually.
Like many people who study away from home, April lives with 7 other students in a crowded but cosy apartment in the heart of the city.
And the change of space is quite different. So back home I lived in an Italian house over 2 blocks, and we were very lucky to have a really big backyard, so we had those type of things like a ski boat and a jet ski and stuff, and to come and live in an apartment where there's no backyard and no kind of outdoor area unless you leave the apartment building, that's quite different. And using facilities, so sharing a kitchen and a bathroom with other people, that's very different as well, especially because people live differently and it's hard to adjust to those things sometimes. My first day was very overwhelming, very interesting. Knew no one coming here. I went to a school that was just year 11 and 12s, and because it was a country school, the participation rate for people to attend wasn't very high. So coming into a lecture theatre where there's so many people and nearly every chair is full because it's the first day, compared to how many people there are in a lecture to what I would sit in a class back home, it was very hard, very overwhelming to walk into a room and see so mmany people that I don't know. What I don't get used to is you see your lecturer for 2 hours and then you don't see them again for another week, where back home you see the teacher in the hallway, in the supermarket all the time.
Is there anything that you prefer about moving to the city?
I prefer the people and the experiences that I've had. There's so many extraordinary people doing good that you don't encounter unless you go out to find them. It's those things that make you feel at home. I don't believe home is a place. I think that it's a feeling within yourself and the people that are around you and what you make your life to be. So just linking in with people and experience things. I don't know how many times I've got lost in this city, but if I didn't get lost, I wouldn't have found the things that I've found or seen the things that I've seen.
I'm Jasmine Tatai, and thank you for tuning into Earshot. For more stories like April's, head to www.abc.net.au/rn/earshot. Catch you next time.